Don't just live for tomorrow, or just live in yesterday. Just be glad for all you have that's in today. And though you've come through many obstacles.
Hey everyone, Connie here, and welcome to my blind reaction to The Owl House, Season 2, Episode 17. Blah, I cannot speak right now. Yeah, just another episode, another week of crushing emotional issues. How do you even follow up last week's episode with all the revelations about Hunter and the stuff in the background and the paintings about Bellos and his brother? It's just like, there's so much that last episode gave us, and it ended on a very emotional note that, as you know, got me really bad. And it's like, again, every episode in the second half of Season 2 has been non-stop lore, character development / building, or both. It's been important episode after important episode, and I kind of have to feel it's going to continue that way. At this point, like after this, there's like 4 episodes after this left of the season. And so it's like, at this point, I kind of feel like they're not going to suddenly take a random fallback on that. They're not going to suddenly go into some kind of like really just episodic story out of nowhere. It would feel so out of place with everything else. It would be extremely distracting and would break the immersion of the season, or at least the second half of it. Excuse me. So, what are we gonna get this time? Ugh. Because all we have is the rest of the season. 5 episodes, including this week's. And then, after that, we have the shortened 3rd season, and that's it. So, we're getting close to the end of this. And I think that's pretty clear, honestly, with the way things are going. The Day of Unity is very fast approaching. I think it's pretty obvious we are coming to the end. And while I wish we would have gotten a full 3rd season, rather than a shortened one that basically amounts to the Owl House being canceled, it's at least comparable, even if it isn't a full cancellation. With it being done like that, it's just, yeah, I feel like they might have had to cut a little bit out. At least cut out some episodic stuff. But so far, it's still been very good. It's still been fantastic. And I still trust the crew to give us the best out of what they're being given. So I still think it's going to be a phenomenal close to this series, no matter what. And I hope that since Season 3 is going to be vastly shortened, I'm really hoping that they put everything into those episodes. That they make it look as outright phenomenal as they can in art and animation wise. That the voice actors go all out. That everything is just that much better than ever. That's my hopes. But yeah, with the stuff we got last time, I wonder if we're going to get a follow-up with Hunter right away, or if we're going to wait an episode or 2 on that. There's a lot of stuff we could go into. It's just, at this point in the series, there's just so much. So it's hard to know what to expect. I am excited, though, so we're just going to get into this. We're going to hope for the best and see what this episode has in store. So, when the screen fades to black, pause this redirect and go to the description below. Follow the link to the reaction, and after you watch it, come back here to the redirect and resume play. Because after it fades black and then fades back in, everything from that point forward will be my afterthoughts and will contain spoilers to the episode. So, that being said, thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you at the reaction. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. This episode wasn't as exciting or insane as previous episodes. It wasn't as, like, just overwhelmingly emotional. It wasn't overwhelmingly, like, intense, even. This one was definitely a character-focused episode. And like I had said in the pre-thoughts, all these episodes in Season 2B have been either focused heavily on character, story, or both. And the thing is, I think this is both. And I'm going to explain why. Not only do we learn that King is a Titan in this episode, but we're also given the idea, at least, that Titans may not actually be, like, bad or anything. Like, we haven't really gone too much into depth with that before, but we're kind of led to believe that Titans were, like, these giant demon monsters that, like, once roamed the world, the demon realm, and had to be taken down, and they were dangerous and everything. You know, it's like you would think with a lot of different games or shows or movies or just a lot of these worlds where these giant demonic creatures are obviously a problem. So it's just kind of that automatic thought. But then in this, you find out that King is a Titan. And he's just a kid, mind you, which means he has not hit his growth spurt at all yet. Jesus. He's gonna be a big boy. But yeah, it's like I think shit's gonna get real, because I also think that this implies that that's going to be a big thing in the final battle. When the final battle comes, the fact that King is a Titan is going to be extremely important. Whether through his powers, which we've gotten a taste of, or through something that only just he can do, or he maybe has this innate knowledge of, etc., etc. That he just hasn't unlocked or whatever. I don't know. You know what I'm meaning. But something, from my perspective, about this is going to be huge moving forward. And I think that by the end of the series, King is going to go full Titan. Like, complete with the size and everything. But this episode also had one thing about it that kind of confuses me. One thing that just doesn't add up for me, and maybe that's just me, maybe it's just because I've only watched it once so far, maybe it'll make sense on multiple rewatches and stuff, which I'll have obviously done by the time you guys see this because of pre-recording and everything. But if you guys could, nonetheless, just in case, if you guys can figure it out and can clarify for me, Tarek was blatantly telling King, it's like, oh no, we don't, like, your father must be away and everything. It's like, he's acting as if they know who his father is. Like, there's a lot of what Tarek is saying, like, he's acting like he knows who King is. He knows who King's father is. And he's acting, and the things he says and everything implies that he just even knows that King's father isn't there. How would he know any of that? They didn't know King was a Titan. They thought he was a trapper like them. And if that's the case, who did they mistake him for? Someone else? Who did they think he was? They knew him by his name. But if if they just had like maybe heard of him or something, and like maybe heard he was going around doing stuff like because of Luz and Ida's exploits and stuff, then there would be nothing to connect him to anyone else. And it's like, who would they be able to confuse him with in the first place to where he would be able to, like, where Tarek would be able to claim that he knows his father and I do not understand. It makes absolutely no sense to me. It just does not fit together. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I'm overthinking it. I don't know. But that part just does not add up to me. But it's very much implied as well that, yeah, Tarek didn't know or anything. Tarek just had no clue who he was. And if that's the case, what? Why did he leave the letter? Why did he act like he did know him? I have so many questions that just... I feel like there's issues with how this was handled in regards to that. The episode was good. All the other stuff was good and important and everything. But that specifically, that leaves some questions that I don't think are going to be answered. Because there's just a lot there. That just makes no sense. And now we also end off on a cliffhanger with the Owl House being surrounded by the Emperor's Coven. And mind you, they've never been good at catching Ida in the past, but who knows? The thing is, it didn't show Ida or Lilith at any point at the end there. So I'm kind of thinking they're probably going to escape, but that the Owl House is going to no longer be safe. They're going to have to go on the run. Things are going to get very serious from here on out. There's 4 episodes left, and I think that things are about to get real and about to get serious, based off just the fact that we had that cliffhanger ending that wasn't even connected really to the rest of the episode that much, outside of like a little bit at the beginning. The fact that we got that cliffhanger ending kind of tells me that we're entering like the end game of this of the season, which, for what's going on and everything, they said there was only a week left until the Day of Unity. Yeah, 4 episodes to display that instead of like maybe a normal 2 honestly kind of makes sense. Shit's about to get real. Shit's about to get real bad, and things are going to escalate really quickly over these next 4 episodes. I'm just wondering at this point how Amity's going to get involved again, especially with the others being on the run. Hunter, Willow, all of them at this point. This episode, though, as it is, was a good episode. I enjoyed it. And again, finding out that King is a Titan was huge lore, really important. And finding out so much more about just the possibilities of his people and everything. And finding out that tease from, I think, the first part of the season and everything, where we first saw Tarek delivering the letter, that tease was just leading to sadness. Not the saddest episode in this second half of the season, but it was definitely sad. And I'm definitely interested to see where this goes. Again, though, I'm wondering a lot of questions. This episode just leaves a lot that just doesn't make sense to me. How did Tarek even know? If they live on the other side of the world, and they've only barely heard of Belos, they don't even really know what he's been doing, how the fuck did Tarek find out about King in the first place? And why does he think King is a trapper like that? What? Huh? King has done nothing to imply that. Just because he wears a skull, just because he has a skull head? because he happens to be a Titan, they think it was a disguise like they wear. Well, there'd be so many issues with that idea. I do not understand. Again, if you could figure anything with that out, please let me know in the comments. Again, I'll have watched the episode multiple times by the time you actually see this, but I still may not have figured it out. It's possible. So just to be safe, if you can figure it out, let me know. I'm really confused. I would say that this is the weakest episode of season 2B so far. It's not bad. Again, I want to make that clear. It's not a bad episode, but that the big questioning that it leads to, the issues that just don't add up, that brings it down for me, and honestly just really keeps it from reaching the level of pretty much everything else in season 2B so far. And honestly, probably with 4 episodes going only after this, and with it implying that they're going to be probably all pretty big, I doubt that any of them are really going to necessarily be weaker than this. But if that is the case, if the next 4 episodes, all of them are going to be this huge finale to this season, then having a slower episode that's not quite as refined and exciting as other ones right before that kind of makes sense. That's how I'm viewing it, at least. But still, just the lore issue in there just throws me off to a degree that I can't really reconcile. And if I can figure it out, if you guys can figure it out and let me know, whatever the case be, great, cool. But as of now, as of my first viewing of the episode, it's really a massive hole in this episode's lore, and just kind of the episode being able to exist in a way. It just makes no sense. Again, just with the fact about them knowing about King and not knowing that he was a Titan and thinking he was a trapper like them, which just, again, I don't know. But maybe we'll find out more about that. Maybe we'll see more of that in the future. I don't know. Either way, tell me your thoughts down below. Thank you so much for tuning in. And for now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.